Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks for joining me. Taylor Cacciola from Namra Consulting Group. And thank you for checking out this webinar style social media seminar today. If you follow along with the video and the audio, I'm going to also have the PDF available so you can kind of just bounce back and forth. So really this is fundamentals of social media marketing. It's everything that you can potentially need to get started with your social media marketing campaign for your small business. If you're an individual like a real estate agent or a mortgage broker, maybe someone in sales, these are supposed to be the core tenets of creating a marketing and social media marketing campaign, and they really should hopefully be your kind of North Star moving forward. That's kind of the goal of this presentation. A little bit about me on the second slide. The reason I do this is because I want to save you guys $1,000 ticket. My company has been to Agent 2020, HubSpot Inbound Marketing, a ton of different conferences that all provide a great amount of information about social media management, marketing, content marketing, inbound marketing strategies. And what this is, it's supposed to be an aggregate of all those different things we've learned over the past 4 or 5 years, and kind of combine them into the best 40 slides that we potentially could come up with, and really just give it all to you in a 90-minute, 60-minute package. But today I'm going to try and keep it a little bit shorter than that, because who wants to sit around in front of a computer and watch a video for over an hour, especially one that's directed by me. So I just want to kind of break that down, give you everything that you really need to get started on your own, and let's just jump right into it. Why social media? Okay. To develop a qualified audience of potential consumers and fans on the third slide. This is where I want everything to come back to. During this presentation, I want that to be the guiding North Star. So that is our goal. It's not to make more sales. It's not to convert more, get more website traffic. The end goal, the North Star of everything we do, has to start and end with developing a qualified audience of potential consumers and fans. Okay? If we do that, and if we agree with that, then moving forward, everything we do is going to become a lot easier, because we're always just circling back to that fundamental core tenet of social media. Now, why is this? Into slide 4, it kind of explains that. Okay, how do I do it and why do I do it are pretty closely intertwined, because social media marketing, it's about the social and it's about the marketing. And I don't ever want to forget or lose sight of either one of those things. They're supposed to be working together, and that is the point of social media. Keep in mind, these are social media platforms. They're not marketing platforms. The obligation of paying attention to what you have to say, or maybe what kind of listings you have, or whatever your business is, there's no obligation or onus on the end user to pay attention. The obligation is on to you to provide them value, or to be interesting or entertaining or educating, and then in exchange they provide you with what is their attention. They provide you with their clicks. So the onus is always on you to make sure that you don't lose track of, hey, this is their leisure time and they're scrolling through on their phone and just hanging out, and we're hoping to bring them some value. So keep in mind that there's the social aspect, not just the marketing side. We want to make sure that we're not just all kitten videos or funny memes and things of that nature, but at the same time, we need to keep an eye on spamming people, or just blowing them up with information that maybe is too much of an ask. So too many calls to action, or too much pressure on them to kind of buy, or whatever it might be. So on the other side of things, you want to make sure that there is enough call to actions. You can do too much personal, right? Usually the golden rule that I always recommend is what's worked for you in real life. On social media, there is absolutely no difference between who you are as a person and who you are as a successful business person, and the social media personal brand style of you, right? So what's that type of vibe you give off, or you take into a meeting when you do a coffee meeting or a sit down with someone in your sphere of influence, or when you sit down to grab coffee with someone? Is it very personable? Are you very soft, fluffy? You want to talk about the person, then get to business later? then that same breakdown, that percentage of business versus personal branding, it should be pretty much in line with what you've always done. We're not changing anything. We're not pretending to be something on social media. All we're doing is taking what we've done in the past, what's made us successful in the past, and we're transcribing that onto social media and using the social media platforms as the tool. It's just the new medium. So don't overthink that. How many times I should be posting about my kids or my family? That should always just be totally up to you. And the beautiful thing is every single person's going to be a little bit different because every single person's a little different. And that's going to separate you and make you unique. And the best thing that I can offer you on this is to be honest and to be yourself. And that is going to, at the end of the day, work out the best. Okay. So before getting into the kind of quote unquote fun stuff, I want to talk about the marketing. So this is slide number 6. The medium, which I just kind of mentioned really quick, the medium has changed. We've gone from, print to, radio to television to internet, and now we're on social. So the medium has changed, but the core tenets of marketing have remained the same. And that's a big core tenet of our company at Namra. It's still respecting and upholding the core tenets of marketing. And when you come up with a marketing campaign, these same fundamental principles apply. We're just applying them to a new medium. And we want to keep in mind and make sure that we're being, aware of that and how people are paying attention. So my number one rule, know thy audience. And when I say know thy audience, I mean know. Not I think I know who my audience is, or my audience is probably this person. It's not good enough. We want to make sure that we're taking this huge sample size, right? We have these 2 billion plus people on the internet, and we're going to narrow it down to a really fine target, okay? And that's going to be our audience. That's going to be our persona, so to speak. And we want to narrow that down to one specific person that we're talking to every single time we're putting up a post, we're making an ad, whatever we're doing. If we're creating a video, we want to talk to one specific person. And by doing this, we actually talk to way more people. So by refining the message, we're actually broadening the scope of our reach and our message and who we're going to resonate with. A great way to do this is by actually creating marketing personas. And in the additional resources I'm going to share with you guys, there's going to be a persona template. And when we do this, we really want to get very specific down to the exact, okay, this is a 35-year-old woman named Betty who has 3 different kids. She's been married for 10 years and she lives in the certain zip code, has this much income, this much disposable income, her kids play soccer. We want to get so super hyper specific that it's impossible that our messaging is off, okay? And that's what we want to do every single time for each one of our services and each one of our product offerings. And once you start creating these personas, you're going to have different value adds, different messaging strategies to each one of the personas. So say you're selling solar panels. You're going to have one type of end user who wants solar panels, and you're going to create a persona for that individual. Maybe they're very environmentally conscious, okay? That persona is going to be very, very different than the persona of the person who's looking to only to cut their budget. They want to save money, cut their budget, and that's the reason why they're going to make their decisions. So that's the same exact product or service, 2 very different personas, 2 very different messages, okay? So that's just one quick example. Let me know if you have any questions on that. Next, moving on to the attention equation, okay? How do we come up with these, right? Keep this in mind. We touched on this a little bit earlier. The value that you are able to provide on social media through written, video, whatever it is, the amount of value you're able to provide your end user is always going to be in exact proportion, is going to be equal to, over time, the amount of attention, reach, engagement that you receive, okay? The amount of value you can provide is exactly the same as the amount of attention you'll get over time. Long story short, put out better content that's more directed, more targeted, that's better serving your clientele. the more attention you're going to receive in return. Okay, so that's the attention equation. That's the biggest thing here to know. It is not just about you asking for the right business or you being there on a consistent basis. It's about you learning and identifying ways to bring your end users value and then doing that. And when you do that, you will receive value over time, or attention in return over time. And the overtime is important because this doesn't happen overnight. Okay, so the attention equation, extremely important to understand once you've isolated those personas. Okay, so you take your personas, kind of think about it and think about your messaging in terms of the attention equation. And now you're starting to get some tangible, okay, maybe I have some video ideas here. Okay, right? And it goes right into this. Once you know thy audience, you know your attention equation, think about them. What are they interested in? How can you help? Create content around those things, educate, inform, entertain through video, photos, written word, and then share. And I always take an extra second here, as corny and cliche as it is, it's so true. You work so hard, you've sat through, 15 minutes of me talking already to learn these different things, and I see it all the time. It makes me so sad to see this. People shoot videos and then they don't put them out there. They put in the effort, they know they want to do it, but they just don't get past that point of hitting share. And that's because you're not going to like how you look. You're not going to like how you sound on video. You might not be super comfortable sharing your ideas out there with the public, but I implore you, if this is the type of person that you are, that you know you're going to get shy about this, please reach out and let me know. I'll push you over the edge on that sort of stuff, because it's so important to just get yourself out there. And it doesn't matter if you're maybe not a huge fan of the way your voice sounds on video or the way your face looks, because it's like seems like it's backwards. These are all totally normal things, and just trust me, put it out there. It's going to be worth it long term, and people won't be mean. They're always going to be more supportive than you think. So just please, I implore you, if you're going to go through all this, make sure you share. Make sure you get out there, because it's going to be good for you and your business long term. So a quick recap. Okay, so what we've talked about so far: know thy audience, understand their needs, create content to match their needs, and then begin exchanging value for attention, and make sure you share. Okay, so it starts with that North Star. Know what your end goal is trying to be, right? You want to develop an audience of potential consumers and fans. You want to know who that exactly is, figure out how to create content, and then get out there and do it. Okay, so next is know your platform. This is important, kind of just getting into a little bit away from the marketing side of things and more on the social media side of things. Please keep in mind that, this is a general overview presentation for a wide variety of different individuals who have a wide variety of different skills. Some people are going to be further along than others. Typically, when I'm doing this in a classroom setting, I'm going to take a poll right off the bat and ask, who here already uses Facebook for business on a regular basis? Who here knows how to run a paid promotion? Who here knows how to, create a marketing campaign? These are all things that vary from individual to individual. So if any of this is a little bit too rudimentary, or maybe it's a little over your head, don't get discouraged. Hang in there, try and take down some notes. And if there's anything I can answer, I'd love to do a question and answer afterwards. So that's going to be a big part of this as well. Okay. So getting into the platform side of things. Why are billboards on the side of highways and not in the middle of vacant fields, right? Because that's where the attention is. So we want to go to where our potential audience and our best audience might be. Okay. So there's some statistics here of, the top 6 social media channels people use at least once a week. And which platform should I focus on? As a general rule of thumb, I'm going to say you should shoot for 3. Typically something along the lines of Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, or Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn is a great option. There are some broad overarching themes and rules, but it's really hard to say, as a rule of thumb, here are the best 3 for everyone. It's just not necessarily it's not true, or it wouldn't hold relevant for everyone. So I'd like to get people thinking critically on some of these examples. So say you're a high-end real estate agent, okay? And you're looking to sell to individuals that are going to be purchasing million-dollar homes. Well, there is a really good chance that Snapchat is not going to be for you because Snapchat skews under 25, heavily under 25. And let's face it, they're not buying million-dollar homes. So that is an extreme example of why, obviously, if you're selling luxury real estate and your goal is to develop people who are going to be interested in that luxury real estate, Snapchat's probably not for you, okay? It could be good, you could get a following, maybe people will like it and watch it, but if you're going to be narrowing down your efforts, if you're going to be really trying to get the most out of your social media platforms, Snapchat's not for you. So that's just a quick example, and that's how I want you to think, because these platforms do skew on demographic and age very heavily at times. Things like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, while they may skew a little bit older or a little bit more masculine in some cases, they still have such a massive number out there that typically everyone is going to have some success using Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Facebook especially because of how large it is, it's hit critical mass. So pretty much all the demos are on there, contrary to popular belief. Okay, same thing. So say you've picked your kind of big three or whatever it might be, make sure that you're looking for smaller niche platforms as well. For real estate agents, making sure that you're actually indexed, or if say you have a small team. So if you have your own Remax team or you have your own franchise, if there are any niche platforms, make sure you're there. So an example of this could be Realtor.com or Zillow or something along those lines. If you're an attorney, make sure that your office has its own presence on OVO or whatever it might be. These smaller apps or website-based things that you might not even realize. Another great one is House or Who's or however you want to say it. So making sure that there are these smaller niche platforms that are taken care of as well. Just indexing yourself in these, like on Yelp, putting your information out there, making sure Google knows you're alive is going to be really great and make a big difference. What should I post? What should I post is one of the biggest questions I've got, and I really think I've got this one nailed, okay? So what should I post? I like to take a very pragmatic approach to this, okay? Because it's an overwhelming question. What should I post gets a little bit hairy. And we've already talked about what kind of mindset we need to be in to create the content ideas. We know how we're gonna bring them value. We know who we're talking to. But when we're talking about actually just getting on our computer, what the hell am I gonna post? That can be overwhelming. So I want to make it a little bit easier for everyone. We've broken it down into, to get started, two really big categories, okay? Two big buckets. All of your content's gonna go in one of these two buckets. Documenting and creating. Okay, the documenting bucket, I want you to think of it as spur of the moment, stuff that you do behind the scenes, maybe giving them a look inside of the kitchen, so to speak. And then the creating is everything you're gonna do on your own time. When you set aside an hour after work to write a blog or come up with 10 video ideas that you wanna pre-record and then edit on your own time and then schedule out regularly. So you have the documenting, spur of the moment, behind the scenes, and then you're creating, which is more planned, okay? Now, with that in mind, there's really only 4 different things that you can do on social media, if you really think about it, okay? You can put up a photo, create a video, make some sort of graphic or design, or put up a blog post or an article or a link to another web page with text, okay? So there's like 4 things really that can each go into one of these 2 buckets, all right? And now once you start thinking the terms of this, it's like, oh, this is actually a little bit easier. Now I can kind of just like start writing down if I'm gonna post 5 times a week, maybe I'll do one of each of these and then one random post, okay? So we start feeling a little bit more, it feels a little bit more manageable. And that's typically how my clients like to think of it. To go through these just really quickly, stock photos versus just photos that you can take when you have customers in your storefront or whatever it might be. High-end professional headshots and things like that. You can run the span, okay? All these can make great posts, and I don't want you to overthink which one is the best. Typically, we see the photos, the real nice photos taken by the business owners or the people out there working on the day-to-day, those are going to do really well. People like watching those types of things. It gives them a feel of like a behind the scenes look. And when you put up something just like a stock photo all the time, it can do well for a little bit, but it tends to get pushed down on the engagement side of things. So we want to kind of have a little bit of everything. Same thing with really high-end photography. If you're only putting out headshots, they might be beautiful pictures, but there's not much depth to them. So we want to switch things up a little bit and have a good mix of all those three. Okay. Same thing goes with videos. I've actually seen in the past individuals who only have really high-end videos taken all the time, like commercial style things, really nice, well-produced, but they're a little bit canned and they kind of come off the same way every single time. Those don't do as well either. So sometimes a relatively impromptu cell phone video does better than the really high-end video. Just for me in particular, last week when I was with a client, I took a video on my cell phone that was behind the scenes, kind of a funny little look, and it did better than all the other pre-made content that we made on our really high-end cameras. And that's just an example of sometimes documenting does better than creating, but it has to be a mix. There's no one set solid rule. So just keep trying everything, seeing what works, and some things will stick more so than others. But very rarely is the correct way to do things one way, straight ahead at all times, never deviate whatsoever. So we want to kind of be experimenting in our content strategy as well. So selfie videos, high-end videography, maybe we're setting up cameras and doing a sit-down interview style video like this one, or maybe we are just doing some quick boomerangs around the shop. All these things, a mix of this type of content is going to be good for business and really good for your content. Next, graphics. The idea behind graphics is basically just taking an idea and making it look digestible. So we want to take information, make it look appealing, right? That's what we do typically if we're having an event or if there is some sort of organization thing going on. Maybe there's a piece of information you want to get out there, but you don't want to just put it out in a PDF form or a text form. We want to utilize the graphics features to catch some eyeballs, catch some attention. Infographics, digital banners, reviews. Maybe we get a review on Google. We want to turn that into a digital graphic. Say we want to let people know about our service that we have and we don't want to make a video about it. We can turn it into a graphic. All things that we can do to really help ourselves. Then there's a couple of resources in your toolkit I'll provide you. And actually on this slide, canva.com is a great one for this. Free usage site that allows you to have a lot more creativity, preset templates, things like that, so that you don't have to be so reliant on a PowerPoint or something like that. Highly recommend Canva. Going into how often should I post? And it's not a very popular answer when I first start, but you have to tell me. I can't tell you how often you should post, and here's why. Because it depends on quite a few things. First, how often are you able to provide your audience, your end users, with the amount of value so that they in return give you enough attention to reach your desired goal? So if you don't mind having lower engagement, if you just want to have posts out there that fill up space so that when people do come to your page, they know you're alive, that's fine. You can post every day, and you can post a graphic or a stock photo every day with a short caption, and your pages will look very clean, look very professional, and that's fine, and you can post every day. But for most people, that's not enough. Most people would like a high rate of engagement. They'd like a lot of impressions on their videos. They want a lot of 20-second views on their videos. So they might have to pull back that amount of posting, okay? Because they will not be able to put forth enough effort, enough value by posting every day. You just can't do it. So maybe you have to post twice a week and make those 2 posts really count. So I'm here to tell you that there's no perfect amount of posts on a weekly basis. You just have to make sure you're providing your audience with enough value so that they give you the amount of engagement in return. And this is over time. Keep in mind, it's just if you post one time and it doesn't get good engagement, that's not enough to dictate or to tell you when the next time to post, right? This is over months, years. And then we can start making some, okay, maybe we need to pull back on posting since for the past 2 months, we posted every day and our engagement's down. Maybe we want to pull back a little bit more, and instead of hitting 2 singles, if you will, single posts, like, just a quick stock photo, we want to make an article, or we want to make a short blog post or something along those lines that's going to provide a little bit more value, and we're going to post a little bit less. Okay, that's a really good way to do it. A little bit more information there. Pairing data with practicality. It's people get way too overwhelmed by when they start looking at the insights on the back end of social media like Facebook and stuff. A lot of times it's worry about the content. Make sure the content's really good. Make sure the content's really consistent and on point. And then I think it's a good time to start looking at the analytics and start making decisions based off analytics. Those are supposed to be small tweaks. It's not supposed to be everything. Okay. Same thing in Facebook here. I'll show you how to go into the insights. So on this graphic here, what we want to do is actually go up into our settings and then go under post on the left-hand side. And then you're going to get this, what this slide shows is the amount of reach and engagement and the type of post. So you can make some inferences based on this analytics. We see that here, this video did awesome. In the past 3 videos have done a lot better than the other 2 links to outside sources. So we know that video are typically hitting better. And this is pretty much universal across social media. So just a quick little example for you. How to get the most out of each post. Play the game. What do I mean by that? I mean, play with the buttons. It's social media. They have different features. You're allowed to tag your location, tag business partners. You're able to put in emojis, things like that. Play the game. Use all the features. If Facebook comes out with a new Facebook Live, try it out. It's only going to help. They only want you to use their features more. They want you to do well. Check out the posting times, right? So here in the back end of analytics, you can see how many people are on at every given time of day on average. Okay, so Sunday through Sunday, and then at every time of the day. So you can see, okay, maybe 4 p.m. is better to post at than 4 a.m. Okay, we know that. We know that's pretty much bears true across the board. There's this pretty consistent curvature we see everywhere. Noontime there's peaks, in the morning there's peaks, and then at night in the afternoon are typically peaks as well. So check that out. See which is best for you and what's most suited for your content. Again, pairing data with practicality. If the Patriots season openers on at noontime on Sunday, maybe don't post then, right? We know we're not going to reach as many people around here at that point. Use these as a guide. Still, I can't say this enough. If the content's not on point, then this doesn't matter. This is just icing on the cake. This is just supposed to be an added little push. This is not going to make or break your content. Except unless maybe you're only posting at 2 a.m. every night. Then that would not be a good idea. But make sure that the content's on point and you'll be good to go from there. You can do this exact same thing with Instagram. Instagram, people tend to be scrolling through later at night, around 9 p.m. That's not as popular on Facebook. Facebook, around 5 p.m. But again, look at your times. Your times are going to be definitely different than mine. So that has a lot to do with age demos. Getting the most out of each post. Here's a quick example on slide number 27. Tag who you're with, press your locations, make a reaction or an emotion. You can tag these videos. Make sure you're changing your thumbnail so that there's a face in that first thumbnail. People are more likely to engage with faces. I believe on Instagram it's like 65% more likely to engage or like a post if there's a face in that photo or that first thumbnail. So make sure all these things are being played with. If you have time to do it, create some subtitles and captions. So they're awesome ways. When you're making these videos, you can actually take polls inside of the videos. So and that's a new feature. So all of these different features, make sure you're utilizing them. It's gonna make a world of a difference between just If you've already gone the length to create and edit a video, make sure you're posting it well and posting it correctly. That's only going to help. Quick example, here are some of those things that we just talked about. Try the new things is the most important. Tag your locations, people you're with, all those relevant things. Okay, finally, Instagram, some quick growth tips on that. Utilizing all the features here. Make sure you're tagging your location and you're using hashtags on every single post. There's a little bit of changing features now. It used to be 29, always use 29 per post. Now we're starting to see that number come back a little bit, but I implore you to check, look at what your insights say. So if you start with a list of 30 hashtags, I want you to post the top 15 most relevant ones, okay? The 15 most relevant hashtags, and only use those 15 for the next 2 weeks or so, okay? See what happens. Check your insights. You can go into your insights and see how many people are actually viewing your post from those hashtags specifically, okay? And I'll share a quick video on how to look at that. That'll be in the toolkit. By doing this, you're gonna see, oh, maybe I need to change up my hashtags. Maybe I need to try a few more, maybe a few less. Maybe these hashtags are too big, maybe they're too small. We wanna have a nice, smooth transition from really big hashtags, like hashtag social media, gonna be a billion posts with that, to Rhode Island, small business, social media marketing, which is gonna be about 0, okay? So you wanna run the whole curve there, and you wanna stay consistent and keep experimenting. That's my biggest tip for you on the Instagram hashtag side of things. For the story feature, if you're going to be putting up stories, you can actually use 10 hashtags as well. These are going to be great to copy, paste into your notes, and then just keep reusing, recycling those, okay? Using 10 hashtags in your story is a great way to get your page found by new people. All you have to do, put in those 10 hashtags, and then you can actually stretch and shrink those hashtags because it's just text, and you can hide it behind maybe a location feature or something along those lines. And that's another thing that I'll show you in a video, how to hide those. I'll put those in the same exact video, okay? So check that out and let me know if you have any questions. The last quick section is about PR. Please, 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 please respond to all of the comments, reviews, messages, tags that you're receiving. These are people trying to do business with you online. It's a little bit different. It's the 2020 version of someone walking in and introducing themselves and then you not giving them a smile and a firm handshake, right? It's almost rude. It's like the new digital way of doing business. It's like the kind of new code of ethics, okay? If someone comments on something, please reply to it, say thank you. If someone leaves you a review, reply to it. That's someone giving you their social proof. They're saying they like you, they wanna work with you, they're trying to engage with you, and you're kind of just giving the cold shoulder. I see it all the time. But now, small business public relations is done in, Yelp reviews, Google reviews, Facebook recommendations, things like that. That is where the new PR is. And we wanna have a bunch of advocates saying, hey, if you need a dog walker, they are tagging you on their page. They're tagging you in that comment feed. So the more we can engage and interact with our potential audience, our consumers and fans, the better off you're going to be and the more return on your investment on social media you're gonna have. So please make sure we're keeping an eye on those things. We're staying up to date and we're not taking those for granted because all of those reviews should be responded to. That's gonna go a long way. I also have here, I'm not gonna get into it, but I have a lot of about 15 other slides that you can kind of look through. And if you have any questions on those, just let me know. I'm more than happy to help. Some of my favorite resources, a few things that I think are cool, free editors that I use, and free music on YouTube that you can use in the background of your videos, stuff like that. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I tried to keep this thing under 40 minutes, which I think we've done. So yeah, thank you. Again, my name is Taylor Cacciola from Namra Consulting Group. I hope you found this valuable and looking forward to doing it again sometime. All right, thanks.